Everyone, hello. My name is Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and I am so excited to be here with employment attorney Elaine Jarvis of Jarvis Law. And how are you today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm excited to be here. It's Friday afternoon. I mean, not when people are seeing this. Certainly, it could be. Who knows? But it's Friday afternoon, and I got to tell you, I'm excited that this is part of my afternoon. We had such a great call discussing the things that we might talk about during this video. I got excited about it. I was talking to a mutual acquaintance saying like, "Oh God, I would love to do every month or quarterly," because it was such a great
Yeah.
conversation. Um, I recently did a collaboration video with a an elder statesman of our industry about using private eyes in the industry, and we spent an hour and 40 minutes on that
Wow.
call. And then 3 weeks later, he said, "Don't run the video. Chop the. I don't want it. I don't want it to run." I got to tell you, that video could have helped a lot of people. I listen. That's his right. That's how we do things here. But a little frustrating, you know.
Why didn't why didn't he want to run that? Because that does sound like it would be helpful and fascinating.
So he felt, and listen, private eyes. Listen, I'm the first to admit, and I have a video. I did a solo video. I think it's coming out this weekend on it. There's some ethical issues. You got to be super careful. There's some legal issues. Like there's a lot to think about as an attorney in that field. But he thought that him taking this position of like, Vince, you're not being careful enough. Vince, you're being too aggressive. Vince, um, you want you're going too far. In taking that position, he thought he appeared soft or weak. And listen, this guy's got decades in the practice, right? Like he has
Sure.
put up numbers, he has stacked the bodies, he has helped some people. And I was like, you actually sound like the voice of reason in the video. I sound like maybe somebody who's a little irrationally aggressive and like I
Hmm.
should be worried. And his take was like, "You're right. You also sound irrationally aggressive, and I sound soft. Cut the video. It's bad for both of us." And I was like, "No, that's
Wow.
not where I was going with that." Um, so I have a solo video coming on it, but it was just like, uh, point of the story is I'm really excited for this collaboration. I really enjoyed our call.
I did too. Thank you.
And everyone, pardon my cough. I don't have a mute button on this microphone, so trying my best. Our first topic, something near and dear to my heart that I talk about in our channel all the time. And by the way, everyone, when this video goes live, the link down below will be to the Jarvis Law YouTube channel, as well as the Jarvis Law website. So go there, check it out. Um, but on my channel all the time, I talk about there not being enough plaintiff side employment attorneys in the country. In a few markets, there are. New York, Southern California. There's a few markets, right? But in most of the country, in my opinion, we have a severe dearth of employment attorneys. I cede the floor to you.
It's interesting to me because we all went into law school for one reason or another. Sometimes it's a mix of I don't know what else to do. Sometimes it's I really want to have a positive effect on something, whether it's remedying injustice or addressing things that we think need to be better in the world. And law is one of the best ways to fix things. But a lot of us also go into law school with very practical advice from our parents and the people that love us. Hey, you need to pay your law school loans. So um, and that's important. That's huge. The thing about plaintiff's law is it's 100% the most satisfying area of law, in my experience, to be in because you can actually right humongous wrongs, whether you're doing employment law, civil rights, consumer protection, personal injury, medical malpractice. You're fixing stuff, and that's incredibly rewarding. I think the disadvantage to plaintiff's law is two things. Uh, the the defense lawyers are very good at lobbying, and they tend to have the big bucks behind them. And somehow they turn the story so they describe us as being ambulance chasers and um, just like carrion, when I see a plaintiff's lawyer in my head, I see the prey birds circling carcasses that are
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? That's like my
Yeah.
image of a plaintiff's lawyer in my head. Like when I was in law school, we had an ambulance chase, and it was like a 5K.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. But that kind of press makes us not want to become plaintiffs lawyers because we think that we're somehow the underlings of the profession or the bad kids of the profession. Now, there's some truth to one thing. I think we kind of are the bad kids. We're the disruptors. We're willing to take the position that's completely lonely and that really involves risk. So lawyers are not natural risk takers, do you think?
No.
No.
But with the exception of plaintiff's attorneys.
Right. And the main part of our job is twofold. It's to remedy or provide a remedy to our clients, but it's also to rationally look at the case and say, is there some way that we can write this? So, yeah, we're risk takers, but we're constantly risk evaluators. Um, but why are there not many plaintiffs lawyers? I don't think that law school teaches us to be entrepreneurs. It doesn't teach us to
No.
be risk takers. It
No.
teaches us to play by the rules. And when I say play by the rules, I don't mean the laws. I mean the rules that society sets so that we get along and we go along with the status quo.
Yeah.
So nobody
Yeah.
says in law school, hey, there's this great opportunity for you to do what you believe in and to look forward to going into work every day because you're doing something that's valuable. And you know what else? Hey, there's some risk. You're not going to get that $400,000 starting salary as a first year associate or 300,000. But you have the opportunity to make a ton of money at it as long as you're focused on serving your client and trying to, again, get justice for folks.
Yeah. That is so true. Oh God, there's so many things I want to. You've said so much that I just want to go on. The first thing you said was we all go into law school for a reason. We'd love to hear yours.
When I was so I've always been a writer and a lawyer. I've written several novels. So when I was 12, I wrote my first short story. Um, and in that short story, I was walking in a forest and I got transported to the future. And in the future, I was trying a case and I saw a headline that had my name on it. Um, my maiden name was Kaczynski, which is a mouthful, and it was Kaczynski wins a big case against a bad corporation, or something simple. And then in a dream, because I was 12 and very dramatic, there was a nuclear war, and I went back to my I went back to my safe home. But so I've always wanted to use what I learned to fix things. It's not just wanting to serve, but and that's the thing. I do want to serve, but when I was in law school, I was also very worried about my student loans. So I had no idea what kind of
Yeah.
law was going to work. I actually thought I was going to become a law professor.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, I don't think that would have worked for me. I think I'm too much of a disruptive influence. How about you? What got you into law school?
Oh, it's really laughable. I was dating this young woman for off and on 4 to 6 years, something in that range. And we finally parted ways. And I remember her being like, and she was 100% right. She was like, listen, then you're a loser. Like you're a loser. You're not like you didn't even like I had applied to college for you. You didn't even think you were gonna go to college. And my take was like, I'm a trailer park kid. Like, yeah, it didn't. I'm the first person in my family to go to college. You know what I mean? It just didn't hadn't really
Yeah,
occurred to me. And her take was like, I got you in college. Like, you're not doing anything. I'm like running your life. You're a moron. Um, and like I got things going for me. Like, I'm see you later, buddy, you know?
mhm,
And I remember like obviously first just rejection and you feel angry, whatever it is. And I was like, yeah, you got a point. She got a point, you know, like you're like,
yeah,
and I was like, I remember I literally walked out of my dorm because she was right. Like she and like a teacher had filled out my college application and gotten me scholarships. Like I didn't even conceive of any of this. And I walked out of my dorm and I went and signed up to do a study abroad for a year in Japan. And then I went to Barnes and Noble and I bought an LSAT review book.
Okay.
And I was like, she's right. I am a loser. And like, I don't have a ton of skills, but, and in my mind, and we'll talk about lawyer shows later, I didn't really know what a lawyer did. But I was like, I don't like me and she doesn't like me, but a lot of other people like me. And maybe if a lot of people like you, you're a good lawyer. And I think I'd like, which is the
Okay.
dumbest thing. That is the dumbest thing anyone's ever said. I think I'd watch a movie with like Pierce Brosnan where he was like which is a terrible movie, but he was like a lawyer who was like really well liked. And like, that's
Yeah.
how he tried his cases or something. And I was like, oh, people like me. I was working in bars as a bouncer. Everybody liked me. Like, it was just, people like me. Maybe that's a way to be successful. And that's how I got in law school. And then I also feared my loans. So I went into um, securities compliance and investment banking right off the bat. And I didn't get to the plaintiff side until 2008 when they were like, hey, Vince, good news. You're one of the ones we're going to keep during the financial crisis. We're going to
Yep.
keep you, but we do have to cut your salary in half.
And
And
a
it
half.
was in half. They're like, we're going to keep you because you're of this, excuse me, of this class of first years. We're going to keep like 3 of all of you. And we just, of those 3, we're going to cut your salary in half. And I got to be honest, very unreasonable for me to be like, see ya in 2008. I was like, no, I'm leaving. And I like walked out and I had done an internship in employment law the summer before. I just walked into employment law. But that was my path. And it was just really
That's
about a girl. It was about a woman.
devastating, actually.
What?
If you think, well, to me, it's kind of neat. It's kind of a neat example of a devastating thing that you turn into something positive, which is
Oh, we're
super
still
cool.
friendly. She's great.
Yeah.
I like to this day, I'm like, thanks. You
Yeah.
made it. Thanks for getting me to college. Thanks for, I didn't like have great social skills. I didn't have a lot of things going for me. So like, thanks for dating me, like, but it was not a noble story like yours, certainly.
I don't think mine's noble. I mean,
Oh, I
in
think
my
in
story,
comparison.
I'm like a famous person in the future, and what the question that I always think is vague to be asked is, well, what did you do? Did you deserve to be famous? So I don't think mine's I don't think mine's noble. I think it's cute though. It makes me happy when I look back.
I like it. I like it. I think there's the sense of nobility. Maybe I'm carrying some assumptions into it that aren't inherently there, but I assumed you were like famous for a reason. Like I don't know. I just carried that. I guess I brought that myself, which I guess is what readers do.
I like when readers do that, and I like to think that my 12-year-old self was had some nobility, but I could also be a jerk at that age.
Yeah, I was vermin. And I mean, in many ways I still am, but like I was like a rat person. Um, really, really unfortunate human being, but it is what it is.